especially coming from more of a short film and industry side of things, I'm a little bit particular about framing as much as I can be. Um, there's nothing worse than looking up someone's nose. Like, if you have your cell phone and you prop it like that, so it's looking up and you're looking down at it, you are giving all of the viewers and attendees the absolute worst view of you possible, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's an important point just overall, is to make sure your nose is clean before you get on stream.
Reminds me of that one job where we had to clean the little fella out of a guy's nose.
Yeah.
And it took me 30 hours in post-production just to do that.
Not
yeah,
recommended.
No. I would say, like, first set up your frame. Well, it doesn't matter first or second, but you want to, first of all, look in the bathroom mirror and just, check for a few little stray fellas there. And for someone like you or I, we have a beard. Now, nothing makes a beard look worse than completely scraggly on screen. So, going and taking time to, if you want, clean it up. Check for food in it. You never know. Check for, remember the one backstage series that we were working on for a client of ours, where the one interviewer, she had a bit of lettuce right on her front tooth the whole time. Just go in and check for those little details. Make sure you are at your best, first and foremost, and then go and find a good spot to prop up, if it's your cell phone, your laptop, your professional camera, what have you. And just find a good frame. Like, I spent half hour this morning was just taking the camera that I'm using here and putting it there and twisting it back and forth and going, no, I don't like that. Put it over here and do the same thing till I was happy with the frame. Because, again, especially if you're a presenter, if you're not just an attendee, but you're also a presenter, why wouldn't you do the best that you can?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say cleaning yourself up and then setting your frame should be sort of your first priority. Once you've found the location that's quiet and you found everything else. If you're using, if you have one, use a tripod. 100%.
And
don't
it's
rely
easy
on
to
that
get,
stack of books.
No matter what you're using, if you're using like the webcam on here on the bottom, it's got a little place where you can screw this onto a tripod.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Now
I didn't know it had a thread.
I could just put this on the top of my monitor, right? Which is where I normally keep it. But to do that, I have to actually push down my monitor because it's really tall. But I could have it on a small tripod or something in front of me, it gives me a lot more freedom where I can put it if I actually put that on a tripod.
Yeah, 100%. And it's the most stable mount around. So you stick it there, and like we said earlier, you figure out your frame, you figure out your audio, you figure everything out, plop it down, and just don't touch it. Ever. Like, I keep forgetting that we're in the technique side of things, not the equipment side of things, but just don't touch it. Ever. And then I would say when you're setting it up, try and set it so that it's about the same height as, say, your nose or your chin, sort of here. Because then you're not looking down at yourself with the camera, and you're not looking up your nose either.
Fair enough.
That'd be my first big tip.
Yeah.
There.
We know it from experience.
Oh yes, and also for those who are a little bit more vanity driven, you're going to get your best proportions if the center of the lens is about where your mouth and nose are,
right?
Without distorting your features. Like, if you're worried about having a big
wide
forehead.
lens, yeah.
Exactly. Like, the lenses on our cameras are so wide. So if you stick it closer to your forehead's going to appear massive by comparison to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So just, again, it just takes time setting it up and looking and saying, am I happy with my image in that frame? One thing is with technique and microphones, if you're wearing a lav, it's not a big deal. Just put it center and you'll be fine. Oops, sorry. That's a bad technique right there. So don't do that. But for instance, like this microphone, if I twist it sideways, you can't hear me so well anymore. So you have to ensure that whatever device you're using to capture, you have to present to it. As much as you're presenting to the audience, you need to present to the devices capturing you.
Mm-hmm.
So if I needed to be facing the camera directly, I would actually put this microphone stand between me and the lens. so that way I can be perfectly in line with the camera
Right.
and still get good audio.
That's actually one thing that I found out recently, and I was actually doing the same thing
Oh,
with the Blue Yeti mics. There's a tendency, just because of how they're designed, to want to speak into the top of it. You hear if I go up here, I sound quite different, but it's designed to
Yeah.
actually listen from right to the front, not from the
Yeah.
top. So I used to actually point it like this,
yeah.
but now I just have it
Nice.
straight on.
And there's actually, if you're using a microphone that does have what we call them as a cardioid microphone, it means that it captures, like if this is 180 degrees here, it captures a bubble in front of that, but only a tiny bit behind it.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I guess that's one of the benefits to the Blue Yeti, for example, is on the back here. It's got, you can dial in which
Oh,
one it is.
Yeah.
So if you've got multiple people in the same place, you can set it so that it's getting it from everywhere, so that you get a more of an interview setup. Right now, I got it so it's just
Nice.
coming from the front, so it's not picking up the fan sitting over there. Yeah. So I guess those are the kind of features you get with the more expensive tech.
Yeah.
But that's only if you are going to be doing more advanced stuff.
Exactly. And if you do have that more expensive tech and it's not an omnidirectional microphone, it's actually a cardioid, like a directional microphone. Usually, a little tip that I learned while doing audio engineering back in the day is the side of the microphone that has the little emblem telling you what type of microphone you have. Like in my case, it's a cardioid pattern. It will be on the side that it captures from. So you're not going to see the cardioid symbol on the back of the microphone. You'll always see it on the front where it captures audio from
That's funny.
as you check your microphone.
Yeah, I think this one is actually the other way. And ironically
What?
enough, well, because this is the symbol over
What?
here, right?
No, but there should be one on the body of the microphone.
Yeah, there
like,
there isn't.
Oh,
There is.
well,
I've got on this
I
side.
guess
I've
I'm full of
got
it
a
then.
volume and a mute button. But that said, I for a long time I actually used this backwards as well, because I assumed that I want to have the gain control and stuff, right?
it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, like I had a little Zoom H2N back in the day. Absolutely fabulous microphone. It could record surround sound 4-channel right down to just a cardioid feed. But the screen was on the opposite side of where you would have to speak into if you're doing a cardioid. So if I'm trying to do a podcast or something, I'm using it, I can't see if it's recording, I can't see if
Right.
I'm peaking my audio, I can't see anything because the screen's on the opposite side.
Uh-huh.
So I wish, just like your Yeti there or whatever, that they would make it a little bit more sensible,
Yeah,
I should say.
yeah.